Okay. गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड, वेलकम टू अवर चैनल एग्जामपुर IAS इंग्लिश मीडियम। आप सभी का हमारे परिवार एग्जामपुर में स्वागत है। सो वी आर डिस्कसिंग द इम्पोर्टेंट करंट अफेयर्स फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ मेन। सो टुडे आवर फर्स्ट टॉपिक इज सैटेलाइट इंटरनेट सर्विसेज। ओके, वेलकम मृदुल, हाउ आर यू? Am I audible, visible? Is everything is okay? Please to confirm. Is everything is okay, Mridul? Okay, चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। Is everything is okay, Mridul? Please do confirm. So we are going to discuss regarding satellite internet services. Satellite internet services. So the context is the government issued a public advisory to stop Starlink internet services from offering satellite-based services in India and asked citizens not to subscribe it as it is not licensed in India. So you might be knowing that Elon Musk has started a Starlink project in which he is trying to provide the internet by putting enormous number of satellites in the low Earth orbit. Okay, are you getting my point? When you talk about the Starlink project, it is being initiated by Elon Musk, in which he will put enormous number of satellites in the low Earth orbit, and those particular satellites will be responsible for providing internet service. So first of all, yesterday we have discussed, let us revise it quickly. We must know what is the difference. What is the difference between your when satellite is parked in the low Earth orbit and when satellite is parked in the geostationary orbit. ठीक है? ठीक है? Is it clear? Satellite internet services. Satellite internet services. Satellite internet services. Satellite internet services. Okay. Satellite internet services. So first of all, we will discuss what happens when the satellite is parked in the low Earth orbit and how it is bit different when the satellite is parked in the geostationary or geosynchronous orbit. The first case is when satellite parks in the geostationary orbit. First case is satellite parked in geostationary orbit. Okay, satellite parked in geostationary orbit. So you can see that, suppose this is the Earth surface. This is your Earth surface. Now, what do you understand by geostationary orbit? What do you understand by geostationary orbit? So this is your geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit means the position. We will discuss the position of geostationary orbit when the orbit lies at around 36,000 altitude from the Earth surface. It is called geostationary orbit. 36,000 kilometers from the Earth surface. 36,000 kilometers from the Earth surface. Then it is called geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit. Okay, geostationary orbit. Now, what is the speciality of geostationary orbit? Suppose, first of all, I have discussed what is geostationary orbit. When satellites are being parked at an height of at an altitude of around 36,000 kilometers from the Earth surface, it is called geostationary orbit. Now, what is the speciality of geostationary orbit? The relative velocity between the satellite and the Earth is zero. That means what? Suppose this is the Earth surface. Suppose this is the Earth surface and the satellite is being parked over the geostationary orbit. That means what? That means both the speed of same. The orbital velocity of the satellite matches with the speed of the Earth. The orbital velocity of the satellite matches the speed of the Earth. So when Earth moves, the satellite moves with the same speed. That is why I have said the relative velocity is same. So what happens? The satellite always remains at the same time. So what is the benefits? First we will discuss First we will discuss benefit when the satellite is parked in the low Earth orbit. So what is the benefit? Benefits क्या है? Satellite remains fixed at a particular position. First of all, satellite remains fixed at a particular position, so the dwell time is very high. You can say that satellite remains fixed at a particular spot. ठीक है ना? Satellite remains fixed at a particular spot. First position. Second thing is what? Suppose this is the Earth surface. Suppose this is the Earth surface. Now this is the satellite. Now this satellite can monitor an area around this much. But if the satellite is being parked 36,000 kilometers, then it can monitor this much area because it is being placed at a higher altitude. The same happens in the cases of when the satellite is being parked at the geostationary orbit. When satellite is parked at the geostationary orbit, it is being observed that only 3 geostationary satellite. कितने? Only 3 geostationary satellite can cover the entire surface of the Earth. Okay. The second benefit is your, since the satellite is parked, at 36,000 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, only 3 satellites are sufficient to cover the entire surface of the Earth. Only 3 satellites are sufficient to cover entire surface of the Earth. Entire surface of Earth. ठीक है? So we have discussed the benefits. Since the satellite remains fixed at a particular spot, that means first of all, satellite remains fixed at a particular spot. Now what is the benefit? It can provide uninterrupted supply of internet. It provides, because of this, it provides uninterrupted supply of internet. Uninterrupted supply of internet. Is it okay? First point. Now what is the second point? The second point is your, since the satellite is parked at 36,000 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, only 3 satellites जो है, it is sufficient to cover the entire surface of the Earth. We will discuss, Mridul ji. Don't worry, we will discuss. Now we have to discuss. Now what is the disadvantage if the satellite is parked in this region? What is the disadvantage? We will discuss regarding the disadvantage. अब क्या हम लोग discuss करेंगे? We will discuss regarding the disadvantage. So what is the disadvantage? The first is, since the satellite is parked at an altitude of 36,000 kilometers, that means it is at a higher altitude, latency is very high. Latency means what? Suppose if I'm asking you certain questions, you will reply instantaneously, but I will get the feedback after a delay of around 40 to 50 milliseconds. That is latency. I'm not getting it instantaneously, है ना? So this is called latency. इसी को क्या कहते हैं हम लोग? Latency कहते हैं. So the disadvantage associated with this is your latency is very high. It is approximate around 500 to 600 millisecond. So disadvantage क्या है? Latency is very high. Speed is low. Second is your latency is very high. Latency is very high. Approximately 500 to 600 milliseconds. Approximately 500 to 600 millisecond. Okay. So this is the disadvantage we have discussed. Okay. Now we will see what happens if the satellites is being parked in low Earth orbit. Already we have discussed that Elon Musk have initiated a project of Starlink in which enormous number of satellites will be parked in the low Earth orbit for providing internet. Now there are two basically questions. what are the advantages and disadvantages if the satellite is parked in the low Earth orbit, and apart from that, why enormous number of satellites is being required? Are you getting my point? The two questions associated is, we have seen that only three satellites positioned at geostationary orbit can provide internet to the entire world. But when you talk about Starlink project, it requires enormous number of satellites to cover or to provide global coverage of internet. Now, why so much of enormous satellites is being required? बताइए प्लीज. Why? When satellite parked in the low Earth orbit. Satellite parked in the low Earth orbit. This is a very broader concept, and there is a high probability that UPSC can ask the same question in the mains paper, because this question it is of analytical nature. It requires analytical approach. ठीक है ना? So when the questions which deals with the analytical part, there is a very high probability that such type of questions can be asked in your examination. If any doubt, please do let me know. Mridul, if any doubt, please do let me know. Yes, you have commented something, but you have deleted the comment. Are you guys comfortable in English? Please. Chale. Okay. So, we will discuss regarding when the satellites are parked in the low Earth orbit. When satellite is parked in the satellite parked in low Earth orbit. Satellite parked in low Earth orbit. Okay. So first of all, you can see okay, not an issue. Suppose this is the Earth surface. Now you can see this is the Earth surface, and when you talk about low Earth orbit, so there might be circular orbit, and apart from that, we are having the polar orbit. So let us consider the case of polar orbit. When the satellite is parked in the polar orbit, what are its advantages and disadvantages? Now suppose the satellite is parked in the polar orbit. When satellite parked in the polar orbit, the time of revolution is around 90 minutes. ठीक है ना? When satellites are parked in lower Earth orbit, the time of revolution is around 90 minutes. The time of revolution is 90 minutes. Can you explain, Mridul, why? Can you explain me? You have seen that when the satellites are parked in the geostationary orbit, the time of revolution matches with the Earth. That means the Earth speed matches with the satellite speed. Okay, that's why it remains fixed at a particular position. But why it is so? When the satellites are being parked in the low Earth orbit, the time of revolution is 90 minutes. That means their speed is very much higher in nature. Can you explain it? What is the reason behind it? Anyone out of you? कोई भी मुझे ये बता सकता है क्या कि जब satellites जो होते हैं, when satellites are parked in the low Earth orbit, their orbital velocity is very high. It is so high that it can completely revolve around the Earth within 90 minutes. Why it is so? But on the other hand, we have seen that when the satellites are parked in the geostationary orbit, their speed matches with the Earth speed. Why it is so? जल्दी से बताएं. Please do explain. चलिए ठीक है, let me explain you. Because what happens, suppose Earth is having the gravitational forces because the speed is low. See, there are two cases. Remember, the Earth is having the gravitational forces, and it is counteracted with its orbital velocity. Remember this case. Earth attracts satellites with its gravitational forces, with its gravitational forces, ठीक है ना, with its gravitational forces, and the satellite counteract these forces with its orbital velocity, and the satellites counteract this gravitational force, and the satellites counteract this gravitational force with orbital velocity, ठीक है. Is it clear? So what I have stated, Earth जो है, it always try to attract the satellite towards itself, towards the center of the Earth, because it is having gravitational forces, and apart from that, the satellite tries to maintain itself with its orbital velocity. So it is natural that if the satellite is parked closest to the surface of the Earth, then it will be experiencing higher gravitational forces, and because it is experiencing higher gravitational forces, it requires a higher amount of orbital velocity. That is why when the satellites is being parked in the lower orbit, they are having higher orbital velocity. ठीक है ना? Is it clear concept? Okay. Now my question is, suppose this is the position of the Earth. Listen, this is the surface of the Earth. Now if the satellite is being parked in the polar orbit, suppose this particular area is India. So how it will move? So it remains over India. For a period of 5 minutes. How much minute? For a period of 50 minutes. Or let us consider that it remains over the India surface for around 30 minutes. What about more than 30 minutes? That means it will provide internet service of how much? This, around 1.5 hours. Around 1.5 hours. After that, it will be completely moved away from the surface of India. This is the main drawback. You have seen that if the satellite is parked in the geostationary orbit, it provides huge coverage. But when the satellite is parked in the low Earth orbit, because of its higher orbital velocity, it do not remains at a particular spot. Its dwell time is very less. If you consider the case of India, it will be remaining over the surface of India for a period of 30 minutes. That means you require almost how much? 48 satellites to provide continuous supply of internet. Are you getting my point? It remains for 30 minutes. So you require 48 satellites so that it will provide uninterrupted supply of India, uninterrupted supply to the India. Okay, that is why now we will see this. Okay, this is the case. Now we will see advantage and disadvantage. Okay, advantage and disadvantage. This is the surface of the Earth and this is the polar orbit. So first of all, we will see the disadvantage. What is the disadvantage? Since the orbital velocity is higher, the dwell time is very less. That dwell time means they will remain at a particular spot for a very shorter period of time. So since satellites have higher orbital velocity, since satellites have higher orbital velocity, their dwell time over a particular area is very less. Their dwell time over a particular area is very less. Okay, so to increase the dwell time or to cover the entire surface, we will be needing enormous number of satellites. The disadvantage here, to cover the entire surface, entire surface, first thing, and to provide 24 hours of dwell time, and to provide 24 hours of dwell time, 24 hours of dwell time. Enormous number of satellites is being required, ठीक है ना, enormous number of satellite is being required, is being required, ठीक है, is being required. Okay, third number. Now what is the, if you park enormous number of satellite, in the lower Earth orbit, now what will be consequences? The consequences is your Kessler syndrome. ठीक है ना. Kessler syndrome, what is Kessler syndrome? Kessler syndrome जो होता है, what is it Kessler syndrome? Kessler syndrome, if enormous number of satellites are being parked, and after certain years, much of the satellite will be dysfunctional. Much of the satellite will start malfunctioning. So they will become a space debris, and because of the presence of a space debris, it has the potential to interact or to collide with certain functional satellite. And after collision, that functional satellite will also become dysfunctional in nature. They will stop working. So this is called Kessler syndrome. So we have discussed regarding the disadvantage. Now we will see the advantages if the satellites is being parked in the low Earth orbit with regard to internet service. ठीक है ना? Now we'll see the advantages. We'll see advantages. We'll see advantages. ठीक है ना? Now what is the advantages? The advantages is what? Speed is very much higher. Apart from that, the latency is around 20 to 30 milliseconds. ठीक है ना? Okay. So you can see that advantage is what? Internet speed will be higher. Internet speed will be higher. And internet speed will be higher, and the latency will be very less. And latency will be very less. It is approximately how much? 20 to 30 millisecond. ठीक है? Is it clear? बताइए. So we have discussed what happens when the satellite is parked in the geostationary orbit, and what happens when the satellite is parked in the lower Earth orbit in connection with internet services. Yes, see, less fuel is required to park. Is it okay? Yes, it is okay, but we are discussing the thing with respect to internet services. That's why I have not quoted this thing. ठीक है? चलिए, okay. So basic is clear. Now we'll discuss the issue. किसी को कुछ doubt है, please do let me know. Okay, चलिए ठीक है. So already we discussed. Now, what is satellite internet services? How we are going to define satellite internet services? Satellite internet services is a wireless internet connection which uses satellite in space to get an internet signal from the internet service provider to users. ठीक है ना? Good evening, Super. How are you? Super? Are you preparing for UPSC? Please do let me know. Do introduce yourself. अपना परिचय तो दीजिए. बताइए, क्या आप यूपीएससी की तैयारी करें? Are preparing for UPSC? So how we are going to define the satellite internet service? When the internet services that are being provided with the help of satellite, it's the basically wireless internet services that are being provided with the help of satellite, and we have seen how the satellite provides internet when it is parked in the lower Earth orbit, and how the satellite provides internet when the satellite is parked in the geostationary orbits. Now benefits. What we are discussing the benefit of what? We are discussing the benefits when the satellite is being parked in the low Earth orbit, because we have seen that the Indian government has disapproved using Starlink project internet services because it is not being approved in India. So benefit क्या होगा? Cheap and easy internet option for rural areas, hilly terrains and islands for last mile connectivity. So the benefits that will arise when the satellites are being used for the purpose of internet, and especially when the satellite is being parked in the low Earth orbit, is that it will provide internet services to the rural areas, hilly terrains and the last mile connectivity. Apart from that, the internet services that are being provided with the help of satellites, they are very much cheap and economical in nature. ठीक है ना? Faster than digital subscriber line. It is faster than digital subscriber line connections. ठीक है ना, जो हम कनेक्शंस लेते हैं वाईफाई का. Faster than digital subscriber line connections with continuously improving technology with present speed reaching to around 100 Mbps. ठीक है, megabyte per second. Can play a significant role in emergency and disaster recovery due to limited ground infrastructure. ठीक है ना, suppose during the time of disaster, it has been seen that because of the sir, I am Manpreet from Panipat, Haryana. Now I'm a student of second year BTech Agriculture, targeting UPSC. Welcome super. ठीक है ना, welcome super. Welcome Manpreet. You're most welcome to our channel. I highly welcome to our channel. We are providing free of cost lectures on YouTube for UPSC. Okay, so you can attend this lecture. Apart from that, if any doubt, you can personally interact with the educators. And it is you are in the second year BTech. That means you must be in the fourth semester. You are having 2 years to complete the basics, and after that you can start your. I want you to crack the UPSC by just after the completion of your BTech program. ठीक है, चलिए. Okay, so you have seen that during the time of disaster, क्या होता है? During the time of disasters, you are unable to connect with your kith and kins. You are unable to connect with your friends because during that time of disasters, the towers are being damaged. Fiber networks are being damaged. Now, if the internet services are being provided with the help of satellites that are being positioned more than 1,000 kilometers above the surface of the earth, so they are not affected with the help of they are not affected with the disasters or any type of hazards. So that will provide reliable sources of internet, that will provide reliable sources of connectivity. ठीक है, चलिए. Challenges in satellite internet service. Now, what are the challenges that are being associated with when the satellite is being parked in the low Earth orbit? Challenges in satellite internet services. The first challenge is your low speed and high latency in comparison to the fiber optical cables. High cost as compared to wireless cellular network and others. Suppose, ठीक है ना, generally it is being seen that most of the time the internet services that are being provided with the help of satellites, ठीक है ना, they are having low speed and high latency, but we are talking with respect to the satellites that are being parked in the geostationary orbit. It is not related to the satellites that are being parked in the low Earth orbit. Apart from that, little bit cost is higher. Okay, welcome super. So you can attend my classes. I will just let you my classes. I take my general current affair classes. ठीक है ना, my current affair classes timing, my current affairs class timing. My current affair class timing is your 7 to 8 p.m. and apart from that another class, 8 to 9:30 p.m. we are taking science and tech classes, and from today itself जो है, I'm starting disaster management. From today itself today is my first class from 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. I will be taking your disaster management class, disaster management classes. Okay, disaster management classes. ठीक है, is it okay? Okay. So we are discussing regarding the limitations, we are discussing regarding the disadvantage associated with the satellite internet services, but we are considering with the help of your, when the satellite is being parked in the geostationary orbit, the first concern is your low speed and high latency. Apart from that, little bit higher cost because of launching the satellite, parking the satellite, maintenance of the satellite, higher cost is higher cost, ठीक है ना. Apart from that, limitation of bandwidth with high impact of weather aberrations, so it will be directly impacted by the weather itself. Potential to damage spacecraft, satellites to, or interrupt higher satellite frequency because of its larger satellite network. Potential to increase space debris. Already I have discussed that Starlink project that are being initiated by the Starlink project that are being initiated by the Elon Musk. It is having the higher potential to generate higher debris, higher space debris, and that higher space debris in due course of time will create Kessler syndrome. ठीक है? Okay. चलिए, so we have discussed, now we'll discuss regarding the metaverse technology. Is it clear? Concept is clear मृदुल? Super नहीं, मनप्रीत बताइए, if any doubt please do let me know. सुपर, मनप्रीत क्लियर है? मनप्रीत, चलिए ठीक है. We are going to take another topic that is called metaverse technology. So what is it and why it is being required, we'll discuss. So a recent study ranked India among top 5 countries in terms of interest in metaverse project. Okay. Metaverse project refers to blockchain-based games applications that are set in virtual worlds. Such games follow a play-to-earn model where gamers are rewarded for being invested in the game. So now, what do you understand by metaverse? First of all, let me explain you what do you understand by metaverse technology. So basically, metaverse technology जो है, when you talk about the metaverse technology, it is basically a virtual world. It is basically a virtual world in which you can directly interact. Are you getting my point? I will just let you know. Metaverse technology is basically a virtual world which are running on Web 3.0, and apart from that, they are using blockchain technology. It's in virtual world in which you can interact. The basic and fundamental example that I can quote is your, just like car driving. Suppose car driving, a digital TV, a digitalized platform will be there. Apart from that, you will be having gear, brakes, and a steering in your hand, and you can visualize that you're just driving car. So everything is in your control. That means though you are in the real world, but you have been engrossed in the, you have been absorbed in the virtual world. So this is what metaverse technology. Another example is PUBG. I have not played PUBG, but how far I know, in PUBG you have to fight. So you can select the soldiers, you can select the type of guns. Apart from that, you can plan your own way where to fight. That means everything is in your control. So that is called metaverse technology. Metaverse technology is basically a virtual world using applications, using Web 3.0 and blockchain technology, in which you can directly interact. ठीक है? So you can see that even the movies, even the 3D movies, just like that, they can also be considered in the example of your metaverse technology. Now we will see how we are going to define metaverse technology. The definition is much more important. Sometimes क्या होता है, what happens, though we are crystal clear regarding the concept, but when it comes to the prelims, we fail to select the exact answer. It is because of you are not familiar with the word. So that is why I often read the PPT so that you guys will be familiar with the word itself. If any doubt, you can intervene me. So what is metaverse? It is a network. It is a network of always on virtual environment in which many people can interact with one another and digital objects through virtual representation of themselves. ठीक है? The term may also refer to digital spaces. PUBG क्या होता है? It's a digital spaces. Counter Strike. All this is what? This is your digital spaces. So the term may also refer to digital spaces which are made more lifelike by the use of virtual reality or augmented reality. ठीक है, so what we use the technique of virtual reality, in which though the things are virtual in nature, but you can interact, you feel yourself being absorbed in the virtual world, and you can direct the things, you can control the things. So this is called virtual reality, or you can call it augmented reality. There is also a specific type of metaverse which uses blockchain technology. देखिए, all the metaverse technologies, remember, extreme statement we have to avoid. All metaverse technologies, generally they are not using blockchain technology, but there are certain special cases of metaverse technology which uses blockchain technology. In this, user can buy virtual land and other digital assets using cryptocurrencies. Are you getting my point? So when the metaverse when we talk about the metaverse, so when metaverse technology is using blockchain technology, then in those metaverse world you can buy virtual lands, ठीक है, विद द हेल्प ऑफ क्रिप्टो करेंसी, विद द हेल्प ऑफ क्रिप्टो करेंसी. ओरिजिनल में तो कभी आप जमीन हम लोग खरीद नहीं पाते, तो इट्स बेटर कि हम लोग जो है जमीन कहाँ से खरीद लेंगे, वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड में ही खरीद लेते हैं बाय पेइंग वर्चुअल करेंसी, दैट्स कॉल्ड क्रिप्टो करेंसी. ठीक है, ओके. नाउ व्हाट आर द थ्री एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ metaverse? The three key aspects of metaverse is of presence, interoperability, and standardization. We have already discussed this thing. Now, why there an increased interest in metaverse technology? Now we have to see. We have seen that India has become the fifth country that is more interested toward the metaverse technology. Now I have to see why. What is the reason behind it? The reason is when you talk about Web 1.0, it was static in nature. When we talk about Web 2.0, it was just like a social interaction. But when we talk about Web 3.0, it is a decentralized system of web in which you can control, the platform. So because of the introduction of Web 3.0, we are more interested toward the metaverse project. ठीक है ना? Because metaverse project means it's a decentralized web in which you can control it. ठीक है? Okay. So a decentralized web 3.0 is the name given. Okay. Creator economy will become a reality in the metaverse thanks to the popularity of non-fungible tokens. So when you talk about the creators economy, it will be possible with the help of metaverse technology. You have already seen that in metaverse technology we can buy virtual lands, ठीक है ना, with the help of cryptocurrency. Multi-dimensional interaction. Moreover, at the moment people interact with each other online by going to websites such as social media platform or using messaging application. The idea of metaverse is that it will create a new online spaces in which people interaction can be more multi-dimensional. Now you have seen that earlier, in Facebook Messenger we can just chat. After that there was an upgradation in which we can do the video calling. Now with the help of metaverse technology, it will be like, not that you are virtually interacting, but the interaction will be multi-dimensional. Interaction will be like multi-dimensional because of the introduction of your metaverse technology. The pandemic effect. The accelerated interest in the metaverse can be seen as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. As more people have started working and going to school remotely, there has been increased demand for ways to make online interaction more lifelike. ठीक है ना? ठीक है? Okay. So how metaverse technology works? If any doubt, please do let me know. Super, Manpreet, Mridul. If any doubt, please do let me know. देखिए, no doubt we are discussing the science and tech topic, but I will try to cover more dimension. Apart from that, we are also covering the static portion because science and tech is little bit tough. That is why I'm trying to cover all the dimensions. Even the static portion, I'm trying to cover it. Is it clear? Mridul, Super, Manpreet, please do let me know. If any doubt, please do let me know. I'm here to address all your doubts. ठीक है, चलिए. Now, how metaverse technology works? Using the aforesaid digital tools, the idea of metaverse aims to connect people, places, things in multiple environments. The metaverse enables this by merging virtual, augmented, physical reality and blurs the line between your interaction online. देखिए, see what it is written. The metaverse enables this by merging virtual, augmented, and physical reality blurs the line between your interaction online and real. So here what? Here Web 3.0 is being employed, blockchain technology is being employed. Apart from that, augmented reality, virtual reality is being employed, so that it basically blurs your line of interaction between real and the virtual world. Are you getting my point? How metaverse technology work? Metaverse technology, okay. Metaverse. How metaverse technology works. How metaverse technology works. ठीक है ना? So you can see that how metaverse technology work. ठीक है? So you can see that it employs Web 3.0, Web 3.0, Web 3.0, Web 3.0. Apart from that, in certain special cases, blockchain technology is being employed. In certain cases, blockchain technology is being employed. Blockchain technology is being employed. Is being employed. And in the third cases, what? In the third cases, augmented reality or virtual reality is being employed. Augmented reality, augmented reality and virtual reality is being employed in such a manner that it blurs the line of interaction in between real and the virtual world. It is very difficult to understand whether you are interacting with the real world or you are interacting with the virtual world. Suppose if you are on Facebook, if you are on Facebook or whatever the digital media, whatever the social media it is, if you are interacting with some friend, it will be very difficult for you to understand whether you are really interacting with your friend or just a virtual interaction. Just a virtual interaction. ठीक है? It will enhance our abilities to express pieces of ourselves through avatars in ways that may not been possible to test out before. ठीक है? Now you can see that basically there are 7 structures, the 7 layers of metaverse technology, 7 layers. So you can see that first of all, first layer is your infrastructure. First layer is your infrastructure. Infrastructure you have to create. ठीक है ना? What type of infrastructure is being needed? You need 5G, Wi-Fi, Web 3.0, cloud, है ना, internet services. So this is your basic requirement. After that you require human interface. So for human interface, what? How you are going to interact? Either you need a laptop, you need a mobile, you need a smartphone, you need a tablet, whatever it is. So okay, after that decentralization. Decentralization means here you might be knowing we are welcome Anip Chaudhary. How are you Anip? कैसे हैं आप? Okay, so now the third is your decentralization. Already I have stated in the beginning that when we talk about the metaverse technology, it is working on Web 3.0. That is a decentralized form of web, है ना? So what you require? Edge computing. You might have already have explained you what is edge computing. You require edge computing so that the data generated is kept in the edge of the computer, kept near the edge of the computer with the help of edge computing. A spatial computing, 3D engines, virtual reality, augmented reality, multitask, geospatial mapping, such type of things are being required. Created economy, ठीक है ना? Created economy, already have explained that in metaverse, if blockchain technology is being employed, you can buy the virtual lands with the help of cryptocurrency. Discovery. Anip Chaudhary, are you preparing for UPSC from English medium? Please do let me know. Are you preparing for UPSC? बताइए एक बार. Okay, चलिए. Now experiences means what? Now because of the 6th layer what is being employed, no doubt you are interacting virtually, but it will be very difficult for you to demarcate whether you are interacting physically or even interacting virtually. It is because of metaverse technology. So we have discussed the metaverse technology. हम जो metaverse technology को discuss कर ली हैं. The next classes I will take in the other session. So is it clear what I have discussed? Punjab, Pakistan. Okay, not an issue. You are preparing for PPSC means. Anip Chaudhary ji, PPSC means from Multan. Okay, welcome Anip Chaudhary, most welcome. Generally my sessions, the timing is 7 to 8 p.m. I take my current affair classes from 8 to 9, 9 or 9:30. I go for science intake classes, and from today itself I'm starting disaster management. So it's an opportunity for you guys. Kindly join my session at 9:30 p.m. We will be discussing current affair classes. ठीक है? Any doubt? Please do let me know. I'm here for 2 minutes. If any doubt, please do let me know. I'm here to discuss all the doubts. बताइए. Punjab Public Service Commission. Okay, Anib, not an issue. You are most welcome. ठीक है ना? I'm having my classes again at 9:30, and it's an opportunity for you. I'm going to start disaster management. Join my classes, and on a regular basis, I take my science. I take my 7 to 8 my current affair classes from 8 to 9:30. I take my science intake classes from 9:30 to 10:30. Disaster management classes are there. ठीक है? So thank you, thanks a lot, everyone. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.